Hello, everybody. Welcome to the session. Welcome to 2026. Today is the 3rd of January, 2026, and we are gathered here today for the 213th session of Mindfulness for Beginners in English conducted by Nisarana Manaya. I would like to warmly welcome Venerable Rohini to this session. We'd like to welcome everyone who's joining via Zoom and anyone who may be watching our live stream on YouTube as well. Our program, as usual, will commence with the in-session practice of mindfulness. This will then follow with today's topic, the talk on today's topic. It is on the type of questions. It is a continuation of the topic we started last week. Finally, we will be moving on to any reports we have received, along with any questions if we have time for that. So to begin today's session, I now invite Venerable Rohini to start the in-session practice of mindfulness.
Thank you, Sonali. Hello, everyone. So I think today we are going to sit for 15 to 20 minutes. So shall we start? So everyone can sit in a comfortable manner, either on a chair or a cushion. So just look for the comfort. Otherwise, you might feel to get up early. So to avoid that, find a comfortable place, sit comfortably, and keep your body symmetrically. And keep your hands in the same manner. And gently close your eyes. Just breathe like that until your focus is over to your body. You might feel or you might see thoughts are coming. You may feel the bodily sensations. If there are any noises, your mind will grab those noises. So just observe them until you find your comfortable place to keep your mind. It can be the breath or the posture or the bodily sensation. Sometimes the tummy movement. Whatever your focus, your attention is, just observe it. Observe it without any judgment. And not to have any expectations is so important. If you think or if you expect to have serenity or calmness or the emptiness or the light, whatever you are expecting, that disturb your practice. Just whatever happening right now, observe it without any judgment, without any expectations. Time to time, your mind will move on other objects like sounds, like pain, sometimes thoughts. It is the nature. So that means you don't need to worry about it. Naturally, mind like to jump into one place from the other. It likes jumping from one to another. That is the nature. So we don't need to go against it, we just observe it. When we try to go against, when we try to keep it in one place, we're distracting the mind. That means we are unable to see the reality of mind, the reality of the nature. Reality of the body. So if we just let it happen and observe what is happening without any judgment, then you are more fully open to reality. Then you are able to see the real situation, the reality of the mind, reality of the body. Okay, everyone. Thank you for practicing with us. Over to you, Sonali.
Thank you, Venerable Rohini. Next on the agenda is the talk on today's topic. The topic this week is a continuation from last week, which is the type of questions. I now invite Venerable Rohini again to start the talk on this week's topic.
Thank you, Sonali. Hello, everyone. The topic is I have the topic poster write up. It is not the answer that enlightens, but the questions. So this is the continuation of last week. It is not the question. It is not the answers that enlightens, but the questions. Actually, we live in a world that loves answers. We have a lot of questions. Like the life is, we usually says, life is like a book of questions. So the questions are everywhere, problems are everywhere, day to day, time to time, every split second there's a question. So we always like to find answers. We always seek for answers. We always questioning or greedy for answers. For example, if we go back to school life, from schools, we were rewarded for knowing facts and solving problems, keeping reciting things. So a school is like a place to train people to solve problems, train children to find answers to a lot of questions. So through knowing facts and by reciting or reciting, so we all learn to find answers for different questions. Even in adulthood, we were conditioned to fix issues. Every day we, in workplace, at home, we conditioned to fix issues. And then move on, and then there is another questions, and there are so many answers we are looking for to recover from that questions. So the answers are highly valued throughout our lives. Answers are highly valued. But when it comes to our own minds, issues, experiences, heartfelt issues, the answers are often fail. They don't give us a genuine relief. So we all are experience that also. There are some answers and we are seeking for answers and we get some answers as well. And although the questions are there, always questions are there, and the answers, when we need answers, genuine answers, we don't get it. Usually the mind seeking for diagnosing discomfort. We don't like discomfort, but we are looking for discomfort as well. Usually we ask, why am I feeling this way? Even in meditation, when we do mindfulness practice, we write reports, and end of the report, we ask, am I right? Or why am I feeling this way? Is this the right experience? So there are so many questions even after having practiced the meditation. So we are always looking for causes. But the thing is, this often leads to rumination. The same thing happened again and again, leaving the frustration with us. So this is the nature. That is how we live. So living is like that. Instead, what if we ask a different kind of questions? So usually we ask why. What is the reason? Even there is what, so we looking for reasons. Instead of that, if we can ask, for example, why am I like this? Or why am I feeling like this? This is the question we always asking. But instead of that, if we can ask, what is this experience is like right now? What I am experiencing something right now. What is it? How I feel it? So I am asking myself to diagnose or to investigate what is happening right now. It is a different question and it doesn't leave frustration. For example, during meditation, uh, instead of trying to achieve calm, serenity, the stillness, we always like to achieve it. But instead of trying to achieve it, if we can see, if we can look for what is happening in my body right now, what is happening or what are the sensations are arising in that moment. So if we can see that, if we want to look at in that way, that is different. Even dealing with thoughts, when a strong thought appears, if we rush in to label it or fix it. For example, if I have a lustful feeling, so if the someone who have that feeling is rushed to label it and fix it, then always frustration and sadness is leave behind it. Instead of that, if we ask question, where does this thought live in my body? So now I have a lustful feeling or I have a angry feeling, hatred feeling. How that feeling appear in my body? Most of the time, the emotional feelings are mirroring with the body. So if we can find it, whenever the very strong thought appears, the bodily feeling related to that thought, if we can find it, then rather than asking question about why am I feeling like this now, then rather than asking that question, we can observe the body. And while we are observing the body related to that thought will disappear, or that thought will intensity will disappear, or intensity will destroy. It will not affect to our calmness or the mindfulness. So in that way, we can ask question, not questioning the situation, but to increase the value of the situation. In daily life, we can turn in that manner, in daily life, we can turn challenges into questions. For example, instead of saying, I am so stressed, we can ask, what does stress feel like right now? So now I am getting a stress for some reason. So rather than thinking about the stress, we can ask the question, what does this stress feel in my body or in right now? How can I meet this moment with the kindness? So likewise, we can ask questions in a different manner because we used to ask the manhood or the human are like that. They are like to ask questions and they like to find solutions. They like to find answers. So we can use that nature of human to success or to overcome the stress, to overcome the question in nature. But question we are trying to overcome question in nature with the using the questions. For example, what does stress feel like right now is a good question rather than saying I am so stressed, what shall I do? So likewise, shifting from seeking answers to asking open, present moment questions, we can deepen our mindful journey. We can foster the presence movement, the awareness, the continuous discovery about myself, about others, about the situations. So that is very, um, that is very kind of way to use the question in nature in fruitful manner. So another example, if I say, just look at children. They always ask questions. Why? Their questions always start with why, but they don't have looking for answer. They always look for discovery. They are asking question to clear the path to discover. Otherwise, they don't want to have a certain answer. If you give an answer for some questions, they will ask another question against that. So likewise, they are open to discover. So adult or us, we can use the same manner through the mindfulness. We can return to the childhood or childlike curiosity about our own practice, about our own life. Another example I can give, when you sit in a meditation or pause during the day, having a break, you can ask, what is happening in my body right now? Just for 2 minutes. Always I say, even with the meditation, rather than seeking answers, what is happening right now, what is the reason for that, and how do I report it, and so on. Instead of that, if you can ask a question from yourself, what is happening in my body right now? So sometimes it is so helpful to reduce the stress. So that question, what kind of question we are asking is so helpful to reduce the stress. So helpful to reduce the frustration. So helpful to go through the path. Another thing is we always ask about the Dhamma. We have some questions about the Dhamma. What is happening and why is this happening? And is there any self? Is there any earth and other realms? We have a lot of questions. So those questions also, if you can keep your attention inwards, if you keep your questions about your body and the mind, if you are inquire or if you can open to investigate the mind, your own body and the mind, then you will discover, you will get lot of answers through the questions. So that is also something else we as mindfulness practitioners, we need to consider. I will give some examples in everyday life. We'll think Monday morning is a very busy day and very hectic, and we don't like Monday morning. Usually, Friday afternoon is so happy and so likely, but Monday morning is so worried rather than other days. So that instead of asking why am I worried about the work this morning, if we can ask a question, why does this fear feel like in my body? Early in the morning, so it's a Monday, so I have to face this project and that project, and I have some presentations, and there are so many things going on in my mind. So instead of asking, okay, now why am I worried about this, or why this morning will have any risk, rather than thinking in that way, if we can ask, while I am thinking, while this stress is with my mind, how does I feel this fear in my body? Sometimes it is tense shoulders you might feel, the clenched jaw or tight stomach. When you are stressed, you can feel it. So instead of concern about the feeling, if you can direct your attention towards the body, so sometimes, most of the time, that tense in your mind will disappear. Mind will loosen. Sometimes it's diluting the tense. If you are preparing for a big meeting, or if you are preparing for like a presentation, so the nervousness is there. It's always nervousness is there. Even though a very good practitioner, the nervousness still might follow you. So where do I feel that nervousness? If you can find it within your body. When you are nervous, when you are stressful, when you are worried, that feeling showed you some actions in your body. If you can find it and ask the question, where do I feel that nervousness? Where do I feel that hatred feeling? Where do I feel that anger, the lustful feeling? So when you can ask that question, you can penetrate through your body, that anger, that emotional feeling, you can see through your body. While you are observing it, that feeling will disappear, that feeling will dilute. Sometimes you may feel racing heart, the heartbeat is so fast, sometimes fidgeting hands, sometimes thoughts making mistakes. So likewise, there are many things you can observe. When you observe attentively, when you observe it, giving the 100% attention, naturally the nervousness or the feelings, the hatred feelings, or the all negative or positive feelings will dilute. Especially with the parenting, you get challenges. When your child is going to sleep, if he is not going to sleep, or if he is not listening to your any advice, you get frustrated. The frustrated with your child mostly. Why can't be good patient? Why can't I have a good patience with my child? So you will ask yourself, what does this frustration feel like right now? If you can ask you a question, if you ask that question from you, what does the frustration feel like right now for me? Maybe you can ask the question from your child as well. What story am I telling to myself? If you can ask that question, you can notice the heat in your cheeks sometimes, maybe tightness in your chest, maybe the tummy is so rigid. So you will find many differences or many changes in your body according to that feeling. Another thing is feeling stuck in a traffic. When you are in a traffic, while I was in Sri Lanka, I really noticed they were so nervous and they were so angry. So sometimes when you are hurry in a, or rush into work or some other works, so you are worried. Then you get angry. Sometimes you say, so why does this happen always to me? That is normal question you are asking when you're facing that kind of things, especially in the traffic. So instead of asking that, or instead of asking how can I face to next step, how can I go to earlier before the red line, cross the attendance sheet. So likewise, before you ask those questions, or while you are having those questions in your mind, if you can observe your body, so that is what is going on my body. That is the question you are asking. Rather than asking so many other questions, keeping so many other questions, or seeking other answers to those questions. How can I face the boss? How can I do the finish? How can I go before the red line? Those are questions normally, naturally you get. But rather than those questions, if you can, at that moment, if you can focus on what is going on in my body as I sit here in the traffic with so many works in front of me. The next hours I have so lot of work to do. But still, if you can start questioning how do I feel this mental situation in my body? If you can ask that question, you will notice restlessness in your legs sometimes, a tight grip on the wheel sometimes. So anxious thoughts are floating about being late. So likewise, you will observe those things. While you are observing those bodily feelings, you will forget the stress. You will dilute the stress while being forgetting those mind thoughts, the mind reactions. So those are the example I can give you right now. There are many, many examples in our lives like that. There are many places, many issues, many times we face us to different situations, making us frustrated and anger and hatred feelings. So every time, usual question, um, keeping aside those usual questions, if we can focus how I feel it in my body right now, what is happening. So that is so good questions rather than normal, always the background thoughts, rather than those background thoughts. So turning challenge in challenges, always we face challenges. We have challenges in our life. So if we can turn those challenges into the questions, the meaningful questions, like not meaningless or not like seeking answers, but instead you can change the questions into inward your thoughts. For example, again, I can say, I am so overwhelmed. One may say, I am so overwhelmed. So that person, if that person can find or look at what does overwhelm feel like? Is it tightness, the heaviness, or the racing mind, or the redness, or the heating in my face? So if someone can question that instead of saying I am so overwhelmed, so that's a good thing. Eh, Sometimes when you are going to observe mindfulness practice or do the mindfulness practice, sometimes you says, I can't focus. But rather than complaining like that, if you can say what sensations are here as I try to pay attention. When I am trying to pay attention, what kind of sensations taking my attentions? What kind of sensations are leaving or keep me away from focusing the main object? For example, I am trying to observe the breath, but my attention is going to the sounds or the pain in my body. So rather than complaining, saying that I can't focus, maybe we can ask a question: what kind of sensations are here to destroy or to take my attention away from my main object? That's a good question we can ask. Another thing is, if you are having anger at your partner or your child or your boss, so you can find what is anger doing in my body. So the question in there you need to have is, what is anger doing in my body? There's anger, but what is anger doing in my body? So then you shift your focus from that situation to a good question. That good question means your attention is shifted from the anger to observing mind. It let go of the urge to know. It let goes to the instead of asking, it is what is it like? You can experience it. The current experience is you are in front of you. You can experience it. While experiencing it, the nervousness or the stress or the when you can't focus, you are nervous. So you are stressed. So you hardly find 15 minutes to sit for mindfulness practice. And if you can't focus on the object, you are stressed. Your frustration is there. So if rather than complaining against it, if you can if you can ask the question, what is this anger? What is this frustration doing to my body? How I can observe my body while I am having this distraction? So this is a good question. So likewise, everyday movements, we can transform into very good opportunities to profound insight and growth. So if you are observing like that, your body or your thoughts, while you are having that stressful time or very negative time, if you can transform those thoughts into that question, then you are having good opportunities to have a profound insight, profound growth. So that actually mindfulness is inviting to inquire. It is mindfulness means to inquire the thoughts and the body, the sensation, the feelings, the foster the deep self-understanding. So likewise, if we can change the situation with right questions, so we can change most of the things and most of the situation, most of the mind distractions. So from answers to inquiry, rather than finding answers, if you can focus on inquiring it, that is the mindfulness actually. Why am I feeling this? Why am I seeking this diagnosis? Likewise, if you can inquire, or if you can question the situation, then you are on the path. You are in the right direction. Keeping away your distractions and keeping away your stressfulness and keeping away the nervousness. So learning from the present moments, the mindfulness, teach us, gather data from our immediate experience Again, good questions help access personal knowledge and patterns, revealing insight we already hold. So if we can have a good question, right movement, that help access personal knowledge and pattern, revealing insight we already hold. We have that insight, but we covered with our feelings, the hatred, the lust, the anger, and all those feelings covered our insight. So if we are open, if we are questioning openly, if your question is about inward actions, then you are trying to reveal your insight that you already have. So if you can ask, that's what I want to say. If you can ask the right question at right time, rather than going through ruminating, going through a normal question, asking why and what is happening to me, this always like that, the same question, circulating the same background thoughts. If you can stop it by using the right question. What is the right question? Whenever something happens, if you can focus, if you can ask why instead of why, how I feel, how my body react to this thought, how my body react to these feelings, the emotional feelings. If you can observe that through mindfulness, then you are cultivating the curiosity, you are cultivating your insights, your uh, intelligence, your awareness about yourself and others. So that is very important than expectation of a magical aha answer. So when you report your mindfulness reports also, you ask question at the end of the report. Most of the time there's a question. So you expect a magical answer from the teacher. Instead of that, if you can, even though if you ask, the teachers always says, okay, just practice the same manner, do the same thing, or continue the practice. So that is why teachers are saying, because if you practice rather than the whatever the teacher says, okay, good, you continue it, that means you are on the right path. But no teacher will says, okay, you are enlightened now, right now. So the aha answer is not there. So saying that, if you can approach your life in this way, so you will slow down your urge to get rid of your discomfort. You will deepen your understanding, noticing, or this is how stress feels, or this is what sadness is like. So by noticing like that, you will deepen your understanding about yourself, and through yourself, you will understand the others as well. And by doing that, you can soften or you can reduce the intensity of your frustration and the nervousness or anxious feelings or anger. And you might reveal or uncover your resilience you may not have realized you have. Usually we all have that resilience, but it's all are covered with our uh, mindful questions. If we can approach life in this way, you can reveal this resilience you already have. And questioning in right way become a tool for opening up to what is present gently and without expectations. It will open to have a kind heart as well. So those are the things I wanted to talk. There are some stories from real life. So maybe you all have stories from real life as well. Like noticing anger in a traffic. So how do you feel? And rather than focusing on your thoughts and rather than focusing on the anger, or the traffic or whatever, what will happen next. If you can observe, or if you can ask the question, what is happening in my body with this anger, you will ease the anger. So if you feel that anger and you are gripping the wheel because of the anger, if you release the gripping wheel, then you will release the anger as well. The ease the anger. So likewise, there are so many examples we can give. And children are anxious about the exams. So if they can, if we teach them to, if we can teach them to before the paper, reading the paper, if they can look at the breath or look at the bodily sensation for 2 minutes or 1 minute or few seconds, that the exam anxiety will disappear. Likewise, the parenting times, the bed times, and advice times, they all we can use this question, what is happening in my body? That is the right question for most of the situations, because that will help to reduce the stress and the anxiety and the anger and all those negative feelings. So please, you use that a simple question, only one question. What is happening in my body right now? So only one question. You can practice it again and again, and it will help you in most of the situations. That will help you to enlighten your, or you, that will help you to find your inner peace, as well as your resilience inside you, and all those qualities inside you. So thank you for listening. And hope you all get some kind of something from the talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Rohini. I'm sure we all can take home that very important message of taking the one question seriously every time we go through issues, what is happening in my body? So that is a really important a take home for everybody. Right, so that concludes our topic of the types of questions. So last week we discussed the 4 types of questions, and this week it is one of the most important ones, to what is happening in our body, and be mindful and ask the right question. So let's move on to the next item in the agenda, which is the reports and any time for any questions, if we have any time at the end. I will be reading the reports for you this week. And before that, let me share the guide. Okay, sorry about that. Taking a minute to do that. Right, so here is the beginner's guide. We always go through this in case someone needs a reminder, or if you want to send it to someone, or there's always people asking you, can you give us where to start? So this is a good place to start. The 2 videos provided by the Nisaranwanaya for us on mindful walking and mindful sitting. Once you can advise them to watch these videos as a start to where to start, and just set aside any amount of time to start, 5 minutes to start off with if you have never done it before, and to gradually build up your time over the coming weeks. And once you have time to practice, you have then experience of it of your own, and that's what we would like to hear on a reflection report. So we would like to hear your own experience on your walking meditation, sitting meditation, and anything that you'd like to share on your daily mindfulness would be good as well. This is not what you know about it, this is what you experience. So anything about the position of your foot while walking, or where the pressure points were, what you felt in that moment. And also in a sitting session, it would be maybe your primary object, or how you felt the breath, the stomach movements, and anything like that. So once you have read something, you can always send it to us via the Google form or the email, which is beginnersenvy@gmail.com, which is more popular than the Google form, but the form is still available and we check it regularly as well. We also have the recordings on the Nisaranavanaya website. Apart from that, we live stream to the YouTube channel, the Sati Pasala YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to share these, I think that would be a good point as well to check the Sati Pasala YouTube channel. Under the live streams, you can see all the sessions. I think going back to about 3 months back, we started sharing it on YouTube as well. So we now move on to reports. We've only got one report for this week. I will start that, Venerable Rohini. Venerable Swamin Mahansa, I walked observing feet as left and right. Floor was cold and hard. Further, could identify roughness of the floor. Thoughts appeared and disappeared. Heard sounds. Felt drowsy by the end. That's on mindful walking. Then mindful sitting. Sat and observed posture as a statue. Belly movements were changing, sometimes long, sometimes short. Heard sounds. Thoughts appeared. Could sit for 45 minutes. Felt drowsy. Yawned several times. That Teruan Saranai Swaminwan. So that's the end of the report manual.
Thank you. Yes, it says especially drowsiness. By the end of the walking, drowsiness, and the end of the sitting also drowsiness. It mentioned in 2 places. While you are observing or while you are being mindful, that means most of the time, if you are mindful, you are having one object and you are concerned and pay attention to the one object. That means you are not allowing to any hatred or any lustful feelings. So it is like a coin. The coin has 2 sides. One is one side is having the number. The other side has a kind of picture or something. So the coin has 2 sides. Likewise, our every single thought, every single moment has 2 sides. Either we can choose its lustful way, and the other way is hatred way, or the angry way, or the desa we call. So every single moment we can have both these 2 sides, one or the other. But when you are mindful, when you focus on one object, you are not giving any chance to have those 2 sides. So it is like you are keeping the coin without one side. You just keep it straight. When it is like that, your mind is not having any lull. We call it no happy, or we are not excited. So it is boring. When you get bored, you don't feel any excitement, or you don't feel like any so usually life is like enjoying. So either you are happy about it, or you are dishappy, or not happy. So when you are mindful, when you are focused on one thing, there's no those 2 sides. So it's easy to come drowsy, or the sleepiness, easy to come and bored feeling. So that sometimes some people call that boredom like drowsy or sleepiness. We call sleepiness. So it is a natural thing That's why in a regular or in a normal walking path, there is a chair or there is a sitting chair end of the walking path. It's good. Every good walking path has the chair. So when you feel like drowsy or when you feel like um, sleepy, then you can sit for 1-2 minutes, and when it's disappear, then again you can stand and you can walk. Even in sitting posture also, the drowsiness will come, and don't take it as drowsiness, take it as a neutral movement. When you take it as neutral movement, you can continue. When you label it as drowsy, then you feel, oh, okay, drowsy and I am sleepy, or so you are, sometimes it is covering your path. So just label it as freedom or something happy label rather than drowsy. So it is normal, and please continue in the same manner, and you can observe all those things without any judgment. That is the path. So please continue, and thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you, Venerable Rohini. We don't have any more reports that we have received for this week. We then have time for any questions from anyone about the type of questions topic or any other topic that any experiences you'd like to share. Please feel free to raise your Zoom hand and I will let you unmute yourself. And if you'd like to type your question in the chat for me, I will read it out anonymously if you'd rather that. Do feel free to do that. I will give you a couple of minutes to see if there's any questions. Looks like we've got no questions today on the topic that raises the question. So
That's good, Sonali, because that means 100% knows or 0%.
one or the other. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's got questions. I mean, we don't have a big participation today either, but however, I know that there are people who are watching the live stream or watching later. So hopefully, if any of you have any more questions, we will hear from you. Do write to us and let us know. And I will then move on to ending the session, Venerable Rohini.
Thank you.
So if anyone would like to hear us discuss any new topics in this new year, do write to us as usual. beginnersenvy@gmail.com is our email address. Or if you know us personally or know anybody who's in the organizing committee personally, do write to them and they will help us raise these questions as well. We will put it to the questions and we will discuss it in the future. So thank you to everyone who participated. And apart from this, thank you very much for Venerable Rohini to taking on this always last minute, despite the time difference in New Zealand as well. Thank you very much. And we must also not forget our usual guide, Venerable Homagama Dhammakusalamapthero, to his guidance on this program. And also the Chief Abbot of Nisaranavanaya, Venerable Udayagama Dhammajiva Mahathero, for may these merits help them guide their own, improve their own practice as well. Thank you to all the organizers who are working hard and to make this program happen and come to you every week. And thank you to merits to whoever sent us the reports, because we all benefit from these reports as well. And anyone who is watching us later on our live stream as well. As usual, we will meet next week 1 p.m. Sri Lankan time. There's no change to that. Sri Lankan time, 1 p.m. Wherever you may be, times may be different. And I hope you've had a productive start to the year 2026, and we will see you next week. We wish you all a happy and mindful week ahead. I will now stop the session for everyone.